What's up, bros? I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Caleb.
We're a couple of bros on a mission to give you guys the most detailed movie reviews out there with as little bias as possible. Welcome to the All Bros. This week on the podcast, we got nothing for 4K Spotlight, but we do have some stuff to talk about with Through the Wall. First time in a while, we just got 3 trailers to talk about, so it's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
And then after that, we'll be moving on to our headliner of the evening, which will be our breakdown of Dungeons & Dragons on Among Thieves. So, Caleb, what do you say we get started?
I say let's do it.
All right.
Need motivation? Angry Dad Podcast. Trying to jumpstart your life? Angry Dad Podcast. You want help getting off the couch? Angry Dad Podcast. You need a verbal kick in the ass? Angry Dad Podcast. You want to hear from somebody who's been through it all? Angry Dad Podcast. I am here for you. You can find me on all podcast platforms.
All right, so starting with Through the Wall, like I said, we got 3 trailers to talk about, starting with the first trailer for Blue Beetle, a superhero I know jack shit about.
I know a little bit about him, and that's mostly due to me watching Young Justice on HBO.
Okay. I want to say I saw that wasn't he in Smallville?
He was. He was in Smallville for, I think, 1 episode.
I did see the suit, and God, this one is such a huge improvement over that one.
Well, that's not fair. That was a really lower budget show.
I know, but I'm just saying it's a very nice improvement.
Yeah, very much so. But I really like the character of Jaime Reyes. I think it's going to be exciting to have a Hispanic-based character on screen. And have him be like a major focus, almost like not saying that like Namor wasn't, but it'll be interesting to see like the Hispanic family dynamics come into play. I feel like that's something that I'll be able to relate to pretty heavily, and I'm just excited. I love the actor that they got to play Jaime Reyes. And yeah, I love the character of Blue Beetle as well. It's kind of like DC's Spider-Man, if I'm trying to make a direct comparison, but it looks really freaking good.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Like I said, I know nothing about the character, but the suit looks awesome. The cast looks great. It looks like they're having a really good time, especially George Lopez. I can't believe that he's in this, but I'm loving that. Yeah, no, I would say that I'm pretty much sold. Probably just need at least one more trailer. So,
yeah, I have high hopes for this movie. It'll be interesting to see whether this character moves on or makes the cut into James Gunn's DC universe. But I hope we get to see more
now.
What, James Gunn's DC universe?
No, not that. I just thought that since we haven't gotten an official movie in their universe, it's like interesting that like all the DC movies that are coming out right now, it's like, okay, who's gonna make the cut? Is this character going to? Is this character going to? It's just interesting.
Yeah, it really is. It's an interesting time to be a fan of DC.
This is true. Well, do you have anything else you want to say about Blue Beetle?
Not really. I think this gave us enough new stuff to look forward to. Like, I'm excited to see how like the hero transformation in front of the family. Like, I found that to be hilarious instead of it being like by himself or whatever.
That was freaking graphic a little bit. Like, goddamn,
dude, it was hilarious.
I mean, it was funny, but I'm like, God damn.
I think they captured just the sheer panic of what, like, the reality of that situation would be so well. And I loved it. I freaking loved it. And like I said, I love seeing something new and seeing a hero kind of not have a secret identity from his family is really cool.
That is cool. Yeah.
Yeah, then you don't get to deal with his bullshit like, I'm just trying to protect you, like all that crap. It's going to be interesting to see like how they handle this dynamic.
Yeah.
So I'm pumped.
All right, well, moving on to the second trailer we got our second trailer for Barbie, which this movie, this I do not know how to feel about this movie because it looks like a lot of fun. The jokes in it are really good, but just like, how are you going to make a Barbie movie work? I've heard that like they're taking some inspiration from like the Truman Show. And it does show at the end of the trailer Barbie and Ken like about to enter the real world. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do that, or how they tell the story. But like it looks like a lot of fun. I freaking laughed my ass off when I think it was like one of the first scenes of the trailer when Barbie steps out of her heels and her feet are still raised. I'm like, that is freaking hilarious. I love that attention to detail.
Dude, I have a feeling that a majority of what we saw with her being in like the Barbie world is going to be not a huge part of this movie.
No, don't say that. I want to be in the Barbie world.
I know, but I feel like she's going to travel to the real world pretty soon into the movie, and then just kind of be like cutting back and forth between whatever she's up to and whatever's going on in the Barbie world.
I don't know how to feel about that, but you know what? I hardly know jack shit about Barbie. All I know is my sister had some when I was growing up. Did I play with them with her? Of course I did. That's about all I know about Barbie. The only Barbie movie that I've actually, like those like direct to DVD ones, the only one that I've ever seen of that, and I think it's because my sister wanted to watch it. Actually, wait, no, I'm lying. Actually, I was the one that wanted to watch it.
What? Why?
I don't know, man. Because it looked interesting to me. It was like the only Barbie movie as a kid that caught my attention, and it was Barbie and the Nutcracker.
I've heard decent things about that one, but still, you shouldn't have been super eager to watch that.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say. That's the only interactions I've had with Barbie. As a child and as an adult. I've had no interactions with Barbie as an adult. But like I said, looks fun. I'm very interested to see like what the real plot is of this movie, but the cast look like they're having a blast, which I love to see. So
same. Like a cast having a good time can save a lot of stuff in a movie. I mean, to a point.
Yeah, there are some movies that did not happen. But, is there anything you want to add to the Barbie movie trailer?
Not really. I will say this. I am actually a little bit more interested in the behind the scenes of this movie than I am the actual movie, because I want to see like just how crazy they went with the Barbie world and like how much of it is practical, because it all looked super real.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Although I'm still disappointed that I can't remember who said it, but the Barbie World song isn't going to be in this movie. That's so sad.
I'm not that upset about it.
Wow, I can't believe you. How can you not love I'm a Barbie Girl in a Barbie?
Pretty easily.
Wow. And I thought we were bros. Guess not.
Yeah, I could say the same thing.
But what?
I said I thought we were bros.
Oh, okay. So you're saying loving that song it is not bro-like. Okay, I see how it is. Well, you might get circled.
I give that song a hard time. I just have a particular distaste for it because it was played so frequently when I was younger. It just kind of like got seared into my brain and made me like really hate it.
I will admit, I don't like the voices that they choose to sing for Barbie and Ken. I would love it. I would love to hear a version that is sung by Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, but I want them to take it like super serious, like not parody.
Yes. Yes.
I'd be down for
Dude, why didn't they think of this? Come on. They could turn this into the next La La Land.
Dude, no shit. That'd be hilarious.
That's seriously what? Oh, man. Well, apparently we can write better music for the Barbie movie, so before we pat ourselves on the back anymore, moving on to our final trailer, we got Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse's second trailer, and holy shit, this movie looks freaking incredible. Like, the animation already looks like a touch better than the first one, and I didn't even think that was possible.
I didn't either. But
here we are.
This movie looks freaking sick.
There are so many iconic lines in this movie, in this trailer alone. Like the one that what is Spider-Man 2099's? Is it Miguel
O'Hara?
Miguel O'Hara. I'm pretty sure it's him that says the line that says Spider-Man is a sacrifice. You have to choose between saving one person and saving an entire universe or something. Wasn't it something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. I love the line of being Spider-Man is a sacrifice. I love that line so much. Because he's not wrong.
I know. Dude, that's freaking nuts. Like, the idea that this whole, like, spider society runs or is basically controlled by Miguel O'Hara, and he only allows people that have, like, experienced a loss, like Uncle Ben. Like, at least that's the vibe that I'm getting from this, but that's a wild idea.
Yeah, no, it really is. And let's not forget the frickin' part where he says, like, he tells Miles, no, you'll never be a part of this, and don't even get me started on the nerd from Earth. Was it 19999 with Doctor Strange freaking throwing it into
No Way Home.
Thank you. Throwing in a No Way Home reference. That was freaking awesome.
Dude, and I'm so glad that they've chosen, like, they finally, like, or I don't know if this is, like, Sony's doing. I'd like to see what the behind the scenes looks like when it comes to labeling these universes.
Dude, straight up.
Because this is, like, the first time that we've had an actual MCU reference to a universe that's not Earth 616.
Yeah, that is very true.
So I'm, super excited to at least get this debate figured out, because right now everyone's like, oh, it's 616, but everyone's arguing like, well, it can't be because the Marvel comics are Earth 616. And so, like, all of these kind of fall into different universes, and it fantastic. So I hope that Marvel just freaking runs with this, because my biggest issue with freaking Multiverse of Madness was them calling the MCU universe Earth 616.
Yeah, I want to see you brought that up in our review, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
So like I said, beyond pumped to see what comes from this, if anything. Like, I will forever now be calling. I hope someone from Marvel, like, comes out and says, like, yes, this is, like, the definitive number for the MCU. So
it's a long ass number, though.
It is, but it's also like the furthest departure from Earth 616.
Touche.
So I like I said, I'm very excited. I would love to see some cameos from MCU properties. Maybe Toby and Andrew. I think that would be fantastic. Even if it's just like a little blurred. Like I'd be really excited.
Be amazing. That'd be super dope.
Yeah, so very excited. But I mean, dude, shit, like this trailer has so much. Like, I gotta say, my favorite bit, like, I actually have two favorite bits, but I love when Miguel calls over, like, whatever intercom system, and he's like, "Stop Spider-Man," and everyone's just like, "You?" And they're all, like, just pointing at each other.
So good.
And then the one Spider-Man giving therapy to the other one, like, freaking love that bit. And then my Uncle Ben, let me guess, he was dead.
Yeah, no, I agree with the parts that you said. I especially really liked that towards the end of the trailer, Miles just he straight up's just like, yeah, I know you guys are trying to tell me the Spider-Man that I'm supposed to be, but I'm gonna do it my own way, and I really like that.
I do too. I wonder how. I can't wait for this movie, dude. Like, this movie looks like it's gonna be so freaking fun.
It really does, and I don't know if it can beat the first one for if it can be better than the first one, but from these trailers, it damn looks like it just might be.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I couldn't be more excited. Like, just being able to see Peter B. Parker come back, all the other, like, Spider-Man that we're going to be able to see, like, freaking pumped. And I can't wait to watch the freaking people that pick out every single detail from these trailers.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I'm looking.
I'll see if anyone's already done it.
Yeah, it's just to see what people have picked out. But, I mean, it's like all different types of Spider-Man. I'm trying to find pictures of, like, the big group shots.
Gotcha.
But, I mean, we're going to see, like, hell, it freaking looks like the PS4 Spider-Man is in here. Like, classic comic book Spider-Man. The one from, I forget, Ultimate Spider-Man? Not Ultimate Spider-Man. There's, like, the Spider-Man show where he's in the future. But there's, like, a bunch of different versions of Spider-Man in here. I can't wait for people to point them out.
I don't know if I would either. One, I don't have the time, and two, I think I have, like, the mental capacity to do that kind of shit. But kudos to anyone that does.
Yeah, my favorite resource for breakdowns like that is New Rockstars. I think I've shared a couple videos of theirs with you.
Yes,
but
you have.
Yeah, they are like deep dive. Like, it's freaking nuts. Like, they'll freaking call out even like little throwaway lines from movies too. Like, when they get into like the nitty gritty.
Damn.
Yeah, like even if it's something that we know, like even if it's something that we know, like I think like even in their Deadpool 2 breakdown, when Deadpool's making that like the sun's getting real low, big guy, like he says of course, like, or like he'll make a comment being like, of course this is a reference to Age of Ultron, where Black Widow says this to Hulk, blah blah blah, and then he like moves on real quick. Like those obvious ones, like he'll just make a quick note about, but he'll still call them out, and I'm like, perfect.
Okay, I can appreciate that.
Yeah, so again, could not be more excited for this movie, and just solely based off of how excited I am, because of how well the first one stuck with me.
All right, if you had to rank these 1 to 3 excitement level, where'd you go?
Damn. All right. Unfortunately, I'm throwing Barbie at number 3. Blue Beetle, and then Spider-Man.
Fair enough.
And that pains me to say, but I think I'm with you. I need a little bit more Blue Beetle before I'm ready to make a call on whether I'm more excited for Spider-Man. But Spider-Man's been on top of my list since it got announced. So
fair. Number 3, I'm actually going to give to Blue Beetle. I'm sorry.
What?
Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
I'm excited for it. It looks very interesting. But it's just, I don't know anything about the character. So I feel like you said, just need a little bit more. But because of that, and just, I don't know what else to say with that. Just, I don't know. Like it, I'm sorry, Barbie impressed me a little more. So Barbie is number 2 for most anticipated. Like I said, I don't know what to think about this movie, but it still looks like a blast, and I'm loving this cast so much. So Barbie number 2, and then, yeah, same as Caleb, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse number 1. Fantastic trailer. Even better than the first trailer, and just, I can't say enough good things about what they've shown us. And I appreciate it, or at least it doesn't look like they're spoiling a lot, which I always appreciate in movie trailers. So yeah, number 1, most definitely.
Yeah, easily. I just hope that they have other big or just beautifully done scenes outside of what they've shown. Because I'm afraid that, like, one of the highest moments of, like, conflict are going to be when all the Spider-Men are chasing Miles.
That's fair.
So I'm a little worried about that, but not so much that it affects my excitement.
Well, I would say that wraps up Through the Wall. So what do you say we move this headliner?
I say let's do it.
Alright, so for this week's headliner, we'll be breaking down Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. Caleb, would you like to let all these fine folk know how we break down movies on this podcast?
I would love to. If you are new to our breakdown system, we have split movies into 8 different categories that we individually score to come to a final All Bros letter grade. The 8 categories that we score are story, writing, acting, character development, effects, music, costumes, and then we give our own personal score at the very end. All of these numbers get magically added up and spit through our algorithm, which I fixed last week. And all of that gets added up and gives us a letter grade to compare this to other movies of a similar grade, as well as a percentage, which is not as important. But it is fun to see where these movies rank within their categories or within their grade levels. So with that, if you have not seen Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, Rose is about to spoil the entire freaking movie for you. So yeah, if you listen past this point and have not seen the movie and anything is spoiled for you, it is your own fault.
I'm going to apologize right now if I mispronounce any words, because I have never played Dungeons & Dragons, so yeah, just heads up. So don't come after me if I mispronounce any of these big words.
I know, I'm pulling up the Wikipedia to help you out.
Thanks, man. All right. Prior to imprisonment, Bard Edgin Darvis spent years as a member of the Harpers, an order of peacekeepers, until a red wizard he had antagonized killed his wife. Accompanied by barbarian Holga Kilgore, Edgin attempted to make a new life for himself and his daughter Kira by turning to theft, teaming with amateur sorcerer Simon Amar and rogue forge Fitzwilliam. Along with the latter's mysterious acquaintance, not even effing up a D&D word. I'm effing... Wow, how do I F up that word? Acquaintance Sophina. While raiding a Harper stronghold, Edgin attempted to steal a tablet of resurrection to bring his wife back to life, but he and Holga were captured while their accomplices escaped. After 2 years in Revel's End Arctic prison, the pair escaped to Neverwinter and learn that Forge has become lord there after its prior lord became mysteriously incapacitated. Forge has been taking care of Kira and has convinced her that Edgin's greed and selfishness led to his arrest. Sophina is revealed to be a red wizard, and she and Forge deliberately orchestrated their capture. Sophina attempted to execute Edgin and Holga, but they escape and decide to rob Forge's vault and bring Kira home with them during the upcoming High Sun Games at the stadium, needing the tablet to prove their innocence. The gladiatorial games had previously been banned, but Forge reinstituted them, promising that the games would bring in tourists and money. Edgin and Holga track down Simon to help, and he suggests also recruiting Doric, a tiefling druid whose forest community is fighting the forced logging ordered by Forge. Doric infiltrates Forge's castle by animal shape-shifting and finds the vault has magical defenses from Mordenkainen, which Simon declares he lacks power to disable. Simon proposes that a magic relic, the Helm of Disjunction, could disable them. They travel to an old graveyard to ask Holga's ancestors where to find it. Simon resurrects the dead with a talisman long enough for them to answer 5 questions. The corpses reveal they gave the helm to Zenk Xandar, a paladin who fled his country. When the Red Wizards turned his people into an undead army. Zenk? Sure. Or Enk? I have no idea.
I'd say Zank.
Zank? Okay. After forcing Edgin to swear to distribute any gained bounty to the people, guides the group through the Underdark to retrieve the helm. With the help of a teleportation staff obtained from Holga's halfling ex-husband, they find the relic but are attacked by Thayan assassins sent by Sophina. Zenk fights off the assassins and helps the group escape from Thember Chod, a pudgy red dragon, before departing. Simon has trouble mastering the helm's power, so they decide to use the staff to enter the vault during the games. Simon and Holga infiltrate the magically sealed door, but find the room behind it empty except for a magical trap. The whole group is captured and forced to participate in the games, but manages to escape. Doric discovers that Forge has loaded the treasure onto a boat and is preparing to flee, so the group steals the boat for themselves and rescues Kira from Forge, who threatened Kira's life. As they escape, the group realize that Sophina organized the games to draw a massive crowd and turn them into an undead army using the same curse that destroyed Thay. The group returns and transports Forge's stolen riches out of the boat with the teleportation staff and spreads them across the city, drawing the people out of the stadium before Sophina's spell takes effect. Outraged at her defeat, Sophina attacks the group, but Simon is able to master his magic and nullify Sophina's time stop spell, allowing Kira to use an invisibility pendant Edgin and Holga gave her as a child to place an anti-magic bracelet on Sophina. Sophina is subsequently killed when attacked by Doric in owlbear form and then crushed by falling debris, but Holga is fatally injured in the battle. Edgin uses the tablet to bring her back to life, as he accepts that he wanted to bring back his wife only for his own sake, while Holga had become a true part of their family. Doric signals openness to a relationship with Simon. Restored, the old lord of Neverwinter declares the team heroes of the realm, and Forge is sent to Revel's End.
Okay. Ooh.
That's the way to start. Ooh.
Okay. This is something that I will say. The story itself was fairly good. I think them kind of solely basing this story off of the source material was a really good decision, but I think there were some things that they failed to take into account. I will say this, as fun as it was, I think the quest for that helm was a bit wasted, I'll say.
I mean, fair, but at the time they didn't know that.
That is true. Okay, I'll give you that. Well, actually, that's not necessarily true because Edgin knew.
Oh yeah, that's true. God damn it. Yeah, but isn't that like kind of in his like he was hopeful that it would still work out. So like I don't know, it was kind of in his character that he would still push on for them to get it.
I don't know, dude. That's a stretch for me. It's just
I'm trying really hard to make you like this movie.
I don't. Well, I'm not saying I disliked it. Like I actually had a really good time with this. There were just some things that I felt were missing from this, and one of the things that I felt was missing, and I don't know if this is maybe an unpopular opinion, but when I listen to other people playing Dungeons and Dragons, I do not like the shows where they don't talk about what they roll. Like when they just kind of talk and like go through the story like their rolls didn't really happen, or just kind of ignore their rolls and just kind of like not ignore, because I mean they still affect the story or whatever, but it's when they just don't acknowledge them. Like when we as like the listeners don't get to hear what the scores or what the rolls are or what they end up being, right? So my issue is that we didn't get anything like that. Like I think it would have been interesting, and tell me if this is dumb. Like I was thinking about this on my way home from seeing this. Do you think that it would have been interesting to hear like an overarching narrator, right? Like just kind of an all-knowing voice, like the voice of the universe, okay? And talking about how like every decision made, every act, every blah 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 is up to fate. It is a roll of the dice. And so all of these things that they do, you get to see like the cosmic roll of the dice in a way. So like let's say like right before they grab that council member, that
was his name Jonathan or was it a different name?
Is like Jonathan or something like that.
Okay.
Jarnathan. Jar.
Oh, okay. Jarnathan. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
So I swear to God, if anyone starts calling me that.
So this is what I was thinking. Is like just as like a cosmic nod, right? It's like they're like you hear this cosmic voice like talking about the random roll of the dice. And then Chris Pine is like talking through, like doing his whole little spiel. And then it kind of cuts to a dice. And it's like while he's sharing the story and they're like waiting to vote on his release or whatever, you see this roll of the dice. And then it's like while it's in the middle of rolling, it cuts to, and then Jonathan comes in, and then they're like, "Oh snap!" Like we just grab him and jump out the window. Like they do all that, and then it's like, you roll, like it's like an obvious like different dice, and it like rolls like just some random ass number, but like because hold on, I want to. Do you understand like the dice rolling system?
No. Let's pretend that I know jack shit about Dungeons and Dragons. Not one thing.
Okay, let me. Okay, so this is kind of like the basis for how Dungeons and Dragons works when it comes to dice rolling. Okay.
Okay.
So obviously this is coming from someone that doesn't know any better, but if you are going to like any action that you have, like it's anything, like literally anything. Like if you're shooting an arrow and you're trying to see if it hits its target, you roll the dice. Now,
Okay.
There are two like major rolls that you can get. There's a natural 1 and a natural 20. So that's rolling a 20-sided die and either rolling a 1 or a 20. The 1 is called like just it's like it's a nat 1. Nat 1s are like the worst roll that you can possibly get. So it's basically whatever you're trying to do, it fails, like without question. So like, and usually like if you roll a 1, it usually causes harm to the team in some way, shape, or form. So I've seen stuff where it's been like, oh, I go to shoot my arrow at this bad guy. Okay, what do you roll? I rolled a nat 1. Okay, well, your arrow completely misses the bad guy and hits your friend.
Shit.
And then your friend takes so and so damage. Like one of the Dungeons and Dragons podcasts I listened to, on the first freaking episode, the dude is like charging into battle to fight a bear or something. He rolls a nat 1 and he slips and he freaking cuts himself on his sword. So a nat
amazing.
1 is just like the worst thing that can happen. It's gonna jack you up. So, and then from what I can tell, it's like lower. It's kind of up to the dungeon master's discretion on what succeeds or what doesn't succeed. Usually, I think it's anything above a 10. It just kind of varies on. Like anything below a 10 will usually fail, but it's not going to be like a critical fail. Where it's just like, okay, like I'm going to go try this. It doesn't work. But it's not going to like jack you up, like cutting yourself or taking some sort of damage or whatever. Whereas getting a 10 or higher, again, it's up to the dungeon master's discretion. Your thing will work. And if you roll a natural 20, that is like the best roll that you can get. Like no matter like whatever you're trying to do succeeds. Like it's just an automatic success. And sometimes they'll throw in like, oh, now like you get to do something like really badass.
Okay.
Like I think like one that I recall hearing is like he shot the arrow at this target or something he was trying to hit from really far away. He needed to roll above a certain number. He ended up rolling a natural 20, and he's like, "Oh, okay, cool." Well, like while they're like these people are trying to stop your arrow, so they take all these rings and throw them up, but your arrow just flies all the way through those rings and like hits like just something over the top like that. Okay. So that's kind of like the system. It's like higher than 10 is usually a success, lower than 10 usually a fail. Natural 1 is like a devastating fail, and a natural 20 is like an outstanding success.
Interesting.
Again, do not quote me on that. Like that is just what
I say that I'm gonna coach you on it, man.
I know, but well, it's just this stuff. So it's just from shows that I've seen, and again, that like there's other rules into that. That's just like the dirty description.
Okay,
just so you understand what I'm talking about. I think it would have been interesting to have these cosmic dice that get rolled anytime we get not every time, because I think that it would get old after a while, but during like big moments. Like I think we need to see it at the beginning when they're like trying to like talk their way out of prison, versus like I don't know, just like random ass things. It's just unnecessary, but it's like when they're trying to talk themselves out of prison, we get to see these cosmic dice roll. We don't get to see one of them finish rolling because they're like, oh, change of plan. We're grabbing this guy and jumping out the window. And so, like, you see just, like, them roll a pretty successful roll. So, I don't know, like a 15 or something. They escape. They get out of the way. And all's good with the world. But then you see, like, the dice, like, start to finish when it's, like, in regard to their release from prison. And it's, like, a nat 20 or something like that. Or it's just like, oh yeah, like we like what they did, like you guys, like we approved you.
Yeah.
Something like that. And then like when it came to Simon trying to put on the helmet, it should have just been like a natural 1. Like again, I think it's something that I'd have to see done first to know if it would work, but that's something that I would an aspect of this movie I would have appreciated them adding.
Okay.
Just so it felt more like we were included on like what's about to happen.
That's okay. I see where you're coming from. I don't know, maybe it's just me because I've never played the game in my entire life, and like I really haven't seen like anything about it, anything like that. Like I kind of liked, like I look at your way being like with the whole like dice thing. I really like that idea. You know, like that like makes it truly feel like you're not playing a Dungeons and Dragons. Like you're not like playing it. Wow, you're not playing it at home, but because they're incorporating the dice, it truly feels like it's like your own adventure. You're still playing Dungeons and Dragons. Is that kind of what you're going for?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay. For me, maybe it's like you said, don't worry, I really like that idea, but maybe it's just because I've never played the games. I kind of like that it still feels like a Dungeons and Dragons game because, you know, like all the character types that they have in it, all the monsters, everything. But I like that it's simply just like a fantasy adventure movie. It like there's no mention of like the dice or anything like that. Like it feels like you're whisked into a Dungeons and Dragons like adventure game, but it doesn't necessarily feel like you're playing it, I guess. I don't know if I'm like saying this right, because like I said, I've never played it. Literally know jack shit about this property. So I liked that it honestly just felt like another fantasy adventure movie. A good one at that, though.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I know I'm giving it a hard time. It's just, from what I can tell, for someone that is familiar with the rules of the game to a certain point, I would have liked the inclusion of that a little bit more. But that's not to disregard like how well the story was told. I think that other than the helm, or what was it called? The Helm of Disjunction. Other than that whole storyline and that just like ultimately not working, I think everything else was told really well. And this is kind of the same issue I had with like Finn's story in The Last Jedi. It's just kind of like, okay, well, we went through all this trouble for nothing. But I do understand where you're coming from, where it's like, you know, it was an option, it just didn't work. Where I guess when you word it like that, that kind of does feel very Dungeons and Dragons-esque, where not everything that happens is going to like contribute to the ending. So it's interesting. So
yeah, no, I absolutely agree.
But yeah, I mean, the pacing was good. I think I felt like it maybe had a bit of a slow start, and then just like slowly started picking up.
I will definitely agree with that. If anything, actually for me, I think like the beginning was a little too abrupt for me. Like I know I keep like circling back to this, but since like, this is my first introduction to this world, I literally know nothing. just the fact that, we're introduced to these two characters and all of a sudden, bam, it's a prison escape. I'm like, okay, whoa. Can I get to know these characters a little more before we like go into like that much of a big story plot in this movie? But I mean, of course, as the movie goes along, gets another both. I'm so sorry. Chris Pine's name in this movie. You get to know Edgin and Holga's like backstory and story in general a lot more. So, like looking back at it, like it's a fine opening. It's a good opening, especially. It's just it was very abrupt for me, being my first introduction into this world.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, it's just I think consistent pacing may have been the biggest issue with this story. Again, the story itself wasn't bad. It's just the pacing. It just kind of went from slow to quick to back to slow a bit, and it just kind of kept jumping back and forth. And it's like, okay, can we just freaking snap the ball on time?
I know a lot of people have said that it definitely didn't need to be as long as it was. It definitely could have been cut down to even 2 hours. Would you agree with that?
I would absolutely agree with that.
I would too. I just don't know where. So I went and saw this
exactly
with Christina.
where.
Oh, really? Where?
I think they could have cut down the frickin' digging up the corpses things a little bit.
What?
It was okay.
Dude,
it was
that was
funny.
my favorite part.
It was funny, but I think they could have trimmed it just a hair.
I'm sorry. No, every single body that they talked to was freaking hilarious. So I'm sorry. I can't cut that scene down. That was just too good.
All right.
The fact that was the end credit scene or the mid credit scene was freaking hilarious. That it was one guy that they never asked the last question to was still alive.
Dude, how funny would it have been if he asked himself the question and then passed out?
Dude, that'd be trippy as fuck. It's like, oh, okay, so it can work that way too.
Yeah. He just didn't think about that. He's just like, I wonder if I can, can I ask myself a question? And boom.
Damn, they should have done that. That would have been really funny.
Oh, man, that would have been great. But I will say this. I don't like that. I feel like that needed to be cut down. But if they were trying to save time, that's probably where I would have gone.
Okay.
But from the consumer's perspective, I really did enjoy that scene. Dude, that first interaction was so freaking funny. I freaking love it.
Dude, I thought that was
a question. Yes. Oh. No.
I thought it was just going to be one body. I didn't think that they were going to bounce casket to casket. That really actually caught me by surprise. I thought it was just going to be one.
Yeah,
so that made the whole scene even better.
Yeah, so I think with me kind of knowing the difference between spells and enchantments and just little stuff like that, with stuff with trinkets, those usually you're able to use more than once. So I that's where I thought, and I'm like, okay, they're probably going to do this with more than just one.
Okay.
So, yeah, really, really freaking funny with that.
Dude, I found it funny that so I went and saw this with Christina, and she actually has a knowledge of Dungeons and Dragons. She played it with her previous boyfriend. But she expected me to not be bored out of my mind, but confused as fuck, which I was, and because of that she thought I wasn't gonna enjoy it at all and actually fall asleep. But I did not fall asleep once in this movie, and I'm very proud of that because I was thoroughly entertained through the whole thing.
That's really good. It's interesting that we have we should have gotten her on.
She I had asked her and we had talked about it, but unfortunately she was really busy today, so it didn't come to fruition.
Man, that sucks.
I know.
It would have been interesting
awesome
to have these different perspectives. Someone who's like completely unfamiliar with the source material, someone who's like slightly like just kind of a fan of the source material, and then someone who's actually like played it.
Yeah.
But bro, like I really want to get into Dungeons and Dragons.
I definitely at least want to play one game after this movie. But it has to be with with certain people, especially considering that it'd be my first introduction. Like, I don't want someone that's gonna literally is so intense when it comes to these games that they're just like, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong. No, that's no way that could happen. Like, I know that that's how it's supposed to be, but it's like, this is my first time playing. Can you cut me some slack here?
Yeah, well, from what I've heard, like, if you're a new player, like, a lot of people, like, will take it easy on you. But
okay. Well,
I'm with you, but I'm actually more interested in doing, like, a homebrew story.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of that's like a majority of whatever I listen to. It's people coming up with their own stories, using their own lore and everything, and like just using the Dungeons and Dragons game mechanics. So like they play everything like it's Dungeons and Dragons, but it's their own story, which is like the major appeal to D&D.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So I want to do something like that, but it's just A, finding the time to, and then B, like finding a group of or some people to play that.
Do any of your coworkers play D&D?
No, all my coworkers are like in their 50s and 60s.
Oh, damn it!
Yeah,
That
I mean,
sucks.
there's a few people that are a little younger, but they're still older than me. I'm one of the youngest people that works where I work.
Dude, no shit.
Yeah, so it's I don't have a whole lot of people that I relate to on a personal level. But anyway, like I wish. I think I just need to branch out a bit more, but I don't know. Well, one day I'll figure it out once I get my shit together.
Your shit together? You okay?
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Okay.
It's just,
you sure you're okay?
Yeah, quit trying to bring up my shit.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just making sure, as your best bud, that you're doing okay. I didn't mean to do it on the podcast, but I'm just making sure.
No, I'm good. I'm good. It's just
okay.
Like I said, it's just attempting to find the time.
Okay.
Like, hopefully it gets better as time goes on, but who knows? Anyway, getting back into this story. Like I said, I had very few problems with it. I thought that the story was pretty exceptional. Even though they did have the friggin' Last Jedi situation with the helm, I can honestly let that go. And that's mainly due to just what you said about it. So, I think I'm like in 84.
That's not bad. That's
yeah,
not
where
bad
are you at?
Actually, I would say I'm just like I'm gonna go 1 point above you at an 85.
Fair. Alrighty, next up we got writing. This was pretty on point too.
Right? Yeah. I actually think the writing was better than the story.
I'll give you that. Yeah, I could definitely give you that. I think, yeah, the dialogue was really well done. Nothing felt like it was wasted. Like, it didn't feel like there was anything like unnecessary. Like everything that was said served a purpose.
Honestly, I felt every joke hit, too. At least for me, it did.
I think there might have
Half
been
of
one
them
or
I didn't
two that
understand.
didn't.
All right.
Yeah, it's hard for me to, like, what's one, like, could you list one that's, like, that you didn't understand?
I swear there... isn't there, like... God damn it. Maybe I can't, actually. Because I swear that there was a joke that they made with, like, the whole lead up to the whole, like, games thing. That, yeah, just went straight over my head. And the whole audience is laughing and my sister is laughing. I'm just like, I don't get it.
Damn, I had, like, 3 people in the theater with me, and they were, like, the most unresponsive group. So, I don't know if, like, I missed any.
That makes me sad. I don't know. Dude, like, because we went and saw it Friday, and it was a packed house. It was awesome.
Damn. Yeah, I went today, like, seriously an hour before, like, I got back an hour before we started recording.
Damn, man, cutting it close.
Yeah, I know. I was cutting it real close. I was trying to go see it with Brielle earlier than that, but our sitter never got back to us, so I had to go by myself. And by the time I was like ready, like by the time I was like at crunch time, I was just like, "Hey, I need to go." Yeah, it was too late to get a sitter to come.
Man, that's...
Yeah, it is what it is. It happens. But yeah, like I said, they were like super unresponsive, and it was like with every joke. Like there were some jokes that I absolutely got that I laughed at and no one else did. And that made me feel like such a loser.
Okay, there's one that I can remember that I feel everyone in the audience laughed at, and I want to know if your audience did. The part where, God damn it, what's his... Sorry, 1 sec. Zank, when he, like, leaves the group and walks away, and how Pine is commenting on how, he walks in such a straight line. Do you think he's going to go around the rock? Nope, he's going over the rock. It's still so straight. That... Like that, did your audience laugh, or was it very silent?
It was silent, but I laughed at that.
Yeah, I did too. Damn, your audience sucked.
Yeah, dude, they didn't laugh at shit.
Like, even if you're not a D&D fan, that's a funny joke.
Yeah, like, I don't know if that was like a D&D specific joke, though.
Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. But, God, people suck.
Yeah, they do.
Like,
dude, I'd rather have people overreacting than underreacting.
Dude, same.
Because I feel like there's jokes that were made that I like laughed really hard with. Like, when freaking Holga went back to her house or her ex-husband's house, and it was freaking tiny Bradley Cooper. I was laughing my ass off, and no one else, like, they didn't make a peep.
What the hell?
Yeah, I'm like, did you guys already see this, or like?
This is some bullshit. Yeah,
like, why do I feel like an asshole? I know. Dude, it freaking sucked because it's like there were 3 people in front of me, and then there was 1 person behind me, and they like none of them laughed. Like, I think I heard the guy behind me like crunching on popcorn more than I heard him laugh. Yeah, it was freaking ridiculous. So, like I said, freaking made me feel self-conscious as hell when I was laughing. But it was... But I think I agree with you. The writing is a little bit higher. I think I'm just going to give it that 1 bonus point, though, above story. I think we're sitting at like an 85.
I think I'm going to go 2 points ahead. I'm going to go an 87.
Completely fair. All right, moving on over to acting. We have Chris Pine, who plays Edgin. Michelle Rodriguez, who plays Holga. I'm going to say Reggie Jean Page, who plays Zenk. Justice Smith, who plays Simon. Sophia Lillis, who plays Doric, Hugh Grant, who plays Forge, and then Daisy Head, who plays Sophina. I would include Chloe Coleman, but she was kind of a small part of this movie.
Who was Chloe Coleman?
She played Kira.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
So yeah, what's your, I think this is going to be an interesting top 3.
Yes, I agree.
So what's your top 3 look like?
Can I do top 4?
Yeah, you can do top 4.
Okay. 4 I would give to Sophia Lilly. Loved her as Doric.
Is it Lily?
Or is it Lily? I swear it's Sophia Lilly. I think the S is silent.
Oh, alright.
I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I give her number 4. Number 3, I'd give to Michelle Rodriguez, who played Holga. Loved her performance. Great job. Really, also really, really good jokes. And just the way that, like, she reacted to the whole freaking Bradley Cooper being... honestly, it was kind of like a Hobbit character in a way. It was one of the best scenes in the whole movie, and her acting is definitely a credit to that.
Let me see. Like, so he actually has like a. He's a halfling.
A halfling. Okay. All right. Pull start with an H. That's funny. Number 2, I would give to Justice Smith as Simon. I freaking loved the whole, like, doesn't exactly. He's is he a wizard? Is he a wizard or right? He's just a wizard.
Sorcerer.
Sorcerer. Sorry, God. Like, he's a sorcerer, but doesn't exactly hasn't fully like grown into one yet. He doesn't exactly always know what to do or how to use his powers, and so through the whole movie it was freaking hilarious, especially when we're first reintroduced to him. That whole scene with the people getting mad that, you know, like he's pulling their leg, you know, ripping them off. Great scene. And then number 1, yeah, I definitely got to give to Chris Pine as Edgin. Freaking, you could tell that he was having such a fun time in this role, and it really, really showed. Absolutely loved his character. I even thought that he had a really good character arc with his daughter. I thought that was actually really, really good. And his character arc with Holga was also really good. So, yeah, that would be...
All right. If I'm doing a top 4, I'm actually putting Chris Pine at number 4.
Ooh, okay.
And not because I didn't like him. Like, I thought he was really fun. I just thought he got a little outshined.
No.
I think making Chris Pine a bard character was just an inspired choice. So yeah, I think I'm going to give him number 4. My number 3, I think I'm going to give to Justice Smith, who played Simon. I freaking love Justice Smith and everything that he's been in. Oh, I take that back. He was in Jurassic World. I'll take that back.
Damn.
But I will say this:
it's bad.
It wasn't that great either. Yeah, so I'll give him my number 3 just because I really enjoyed him. I loved his growth through this and how well he portrayed that, and just his goofy, non-confident self, and just kind of slowly getting to that point of being like a good sorcerer. My number 3. Oh damn! I think I'll give it to Sophia Lilly, who played Doric. I thought she was incredible throughout this whole thing. She did kind of play it a little bit dry, but I think it worked for her character. Like, who she was. So I dug her.
Definitely agree with
Yeah. And then my number one, I'm going to give to Michelle Rodriguez. She was hilarious, dude.
Like, so great.
I'll be real. The only thing that I've like seen her in that like I'm looking through her IMDb like really quick, but the only thing that I've seen her in, at least so far, is the Fast and the Furious movies. But she was like the best part of those movies.
I've never even seen any of the ones that she's in, and I'll take your word for that. Because of how good she is in this one.
She's incredible, dude. Like, she is such a good actress and such a freaking badass. Like, I loved everything that she did. Like, my favorite thing is when they're about to get, like, executed. And she's asking the dude, like, how he cleans his axe. And she's just like, oh, you should be doing that monthly or weekly. And then, like, she freaking beats the shit out of him, takes his axe, and then he's like, or the freaking Edgin's like, all right, let's get the hell out of here. And he's like, but, and he's like, yeah, I know, the boiled linseed oil. Like, whatever, like, what the guy said he cleaned the axe with. Like, I loved her. I loved how, like, just crazy she was. And one of the things about barbarians, and this is, like, one thing that I do know about this game for sure, barbarians are usually not very smart because they put all of their stat points into strength and fighting and basically all the stuff that would help them in battle. So they don't really throw any... Yeah, they don't really throw any points towards intelligence. And so having her just kind of be a little ditzy was fantastic.
it definitely really worked.
Yeah, it was... I feel it worked because you knew that she was, like, very capable. And it didn't come off like she was dumb. Like, you knew that she still had, like, an intelligence about her. It just wasn't, like, book smart stuff. Like, how she keeps, like, saying, like, throw magic at the problem.
Yeah.
Or just random shit like that. Like, I think she pulled it off incredibly well, where it's just like, okay, there's the barbarian in her showing. So I freaking loved her performance in this. And honestly, like, if they do have a sequel, I want to see more of her.
That's fair. I really hope that this movie is successful, because I definitely want to see more.
I do too. I think that they can do great things with the Dungeons and Dragons world. Like, even if they don't, like, I'll say this, I'll be bummed out if they don't continue this story, but I wouldn't be upset if they, like, moved on from this cast and just kind of had, like, just told Dungeons and Dragons stories with different cast.
As long as we got the same writers and directors, I'm perfectly fine with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's what my top 4 looks like.
Very nice.
We definitely got to give the honorable mention to Reggie Jean Page. He was... I hated him at first, and not like the actor, like, it's not saying he did a bad job, like, he did a fantastic job at making me just feel like, oh man, this dude's a douche. And he just, like, kept playing that way, and I'm just like, ugh. Like, it was irritating, but it was, like, fun too. So, like, a character I love to hate. And for no reason other than his attitude.
Fair. What'd you think of Hugh Grant's performance?
I didn't mind it. It wasn't, like, outstanding to me or anything, but it was good.
I'd agree.
Yeah.
Considering he was like part of like the main cast, I just wanted to get your opinion on him.
Yeah. And then I definitely got to give a shout out to Daisy Head, who played Sophina. She played an incredibly intimidating protagonist.
Oh,
antagonist.
Straight up.
Yeah, so freaking loved her. So yeah, where are you sitting at with acting?
I would say that I'll say a solid 90.
I might be a tad lower than you. I think I'm sitting at like an 88.
Fair enough.
All right, next up we got character development, which I don't know about you, but I did based off of Edgin.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that's Chris Pine's character. I think he had some like really decent growth through this.
No, dude, I absolutely agree. Especially the sacrifice that he makes at the, well, I guess not a sacrifice, but the decision that he makes at the ending, to instead of bringing his wife back, he brings Holga back, not only for his daughter, but for him realizing that, you know what, actually, that this is what my wife would have wanted. So I think that was such a great character. The growth that we get up until that point is so good, to where when we get to that scene at the ending, it makes complete sense. It's not out of character.
Yeah, it really like strikes an emotional punch, because I think he finally like took that moment to realize that his daughter didn't know her mother. And so in her eyes, I think he finally saw that she views her as kind of that mother figure, where it's like, it's obviously I don't think she views her like a mother, but just that strong feminine figure in her life. And I think it took a lot for Edgin to realize that what he was doing was, or what he was trying to do with resurrecting his wife, was more of a selfish act than what he thought was like for the greater good of his daughter. So I thought that was a really interesting story, and I wish we would have dived into it just a little bit more, but I think it worked out like amazingly well. Like, I had close to no issues with his arc.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely like a high point in this. Like, this might be one of my higher categories. But I think I'm gonna put. I mean, it's not much higher. I'm like at an 89.
No, I think I'll match you on that.
All right, next up we got effects. And bro, these effects were pretty freaking good.
Dude, I got, I know it's, played off as a joke and everything, but I got freaking nightmare fuel when, the whole, spell that they were doing for Chris Pine's, Edgin to be in two places at once, but then the spell starts going haywire, and his freaking face starts morphing, and he starts getting it looked awesome. Like, the effect looked super cool, but oh my god, was that shit nightmare fuel when his pupils got that freaking big. I'm like, oh hell no.
Dude, it was horrifying. Dude, this movie freaking hits you with a couple freaking solid jump scares.
Dude, yeah, seriously.
Like, the freaking big one that I'm thinking of is when Sophina, when she when they're so it's when Forge is showing off the vault and everything, and Sophina stops and she's like, there's a wild changeling among us, and then she just screams and points. Like, that scared the hell out of me.
Same here, man. Same here.
And then I'm trying to think of like some other shit that like scared me. The freaking jaguar looking things, like those were scary too.
Oh yeah,
dude. And I know I saw it in the damn commercials, but that damn like the box or the thing that looked like a chest.
Oh yeah, dude. When that freaking mouth just popped out, yeah, that scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, it's just like good hell. Like that has no business being that freaking scary.
Yeah, dude, straight up.
Yeah, and there was a bunch of shit like that. Like, it's just like completely random. Like, totally took me off guard. Like, when they resurrected that first guy, at the battle, like the cemetery, and it like took a second for him to be revived. Like that was freaking terrifying.
What'd you think? How did the dragon look, in your opinion?
Oh, the freaking pudgy dragon?
Yeah.
I thought he looked really good.
No, like, honestly, I thought that he was on the level of how Smaug looked in The Hobbit.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to judge like how realistic something looks when it comes to like a dragon and its movement, especially a fat dragon.
Fair.
But I think they did amazingly well, like just keeping it on the same level as everything else within the scene, where it didn't feel like overly done, but didn't feel like poor quality either. Like this was just like a perfect level.
I will say another effect that I really thought looked good was when they're using the whole spell to where you can teleport from one area to another if you can see it. And they're doing that with being able to transport into the room with like all the treasures and everything. When they're like on the stagecoach and they're like trying to make it to where it's like attached to they attach it to the picture and they're trying to transport it into that room. Just everything that they have to go through, especially on the stagecoach, the way that like it. I thought it was going to look campy, but they actually made it look really good to where they're trying to reach each other through. God, I don't even know how to explain it. Like what would you say, like when you're reaching for someone through like a completely into a different like not dimension, but like you're reaching for someone through a portal. That's the word I'm looking for. I don't know why it took me that long to get that. But like, yeah, the whole scene where they're, like having to reach each other through the portal, just making it work. Like, I thought that was going to, like, I was afraid that was going to look bad. I'm just like, oh yeah, no, like, I can, like, yeah, of course that's, like fantasy and everything. That's impossible to happen in, our world. But they made it look really realistic, in this, and I gotta give them applause for that.
Dude, absolutely. Like, I feel like I've seen movies that have portals, like obviously not to like that degree, but they come off looking super goofy, but they did a really solid job with these portals. So I absolutely agree with you on that. Those portals were the bomb. And again, like I freaking loved the just like that Dungeons and Dragons style, like, oh, the painting fell, so they like it just completely effed up their plan.
Yeah, I'd be so freaking pissed if that happened to me.
Oh my gosh, dude, because I was thinking, I'm like, that's a freaking solid plan.
Yeah.
Like that's like super ingenious. And then when that painting fell, I was just like, oh, damn it.
Son of a bitch.
I will say, I do feel like there is a bit of a plot hole there, because I do feel like they probably could have reached their hand in and lifted the frame up, because the frame stuck out more than the painting.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, but so I mean that's a very minor gripe and not anything that I'm going to dock for. I just wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, they could have still gotten enough force to push it up. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I agree.
Oh man. But I as much as I love the portal though, I do feel it did kind of serve as a like a major plot device when it was just kind of something that that Holga already had on hand.
Okay.
So it just felt a little cheap, but I think I sufficiently docked for that in writing. I just wanted to bring that point up too, but major effects that I gotta say, freaking Doric, whenever she was shape-shifting, like, anytime she changed forms, looked really freaking good.
Yeah, oh, I absolutely agree.
Other stuff. The last one, when she was beating the shit out of Sophina as the owlbear. Dude, that was brutal.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Dude, like, just when I thought, like, when she initially beat her up, I was just like, oh, damn, like, that was a little rough. And then she, like, here's Sophina just, and then she beats the shit out of her more, throws her against a wall, and then just, like, hits this corner, falls down, and then just a shit ton of rocks come and crush her. I'm just like, good lord. Like, can you say overkill?
Yeah, dude, straight up.
So I freaking love that. So, oh man, the effects were rock solid, dude.
They really were.
Where are you sitting at?
I think I'm actually going to go a touch above my acting, and I'm going to go a 90.
I'm actually going to be a little bit nicer than you.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go up to 93. All right, next up we got music.
I will say the whole song that, or I don't know if it was songs or if it was different songs that oh my god, I keep forgetting these names. I'm sorry. That Edgin and Holga, when they're leaving her place, are singing, and then also that they're singing together is, unfortunately, she's dying, but then of course she gets resurrected. Like, I loved that. That was great. But was it the same song? Was he playing the same song when he was trying to distract the guards? Or was that
I think it was a different song.
Okay. So yeah, all the songs that I'm gonna remember this eventually. Edgin sung as a bard, fantastic.
Oh yeah, they were really good. I think the only thing that was missing was just one really catchy song.
That's fair.
And this would have bumped it up significantly for me.
I mean, the music surrounding everything, just like the score, really good though. Like it definitely, it was intense. It added to the intensity when it needed to, and then of course it added to the emotional moments. So very well done soundtrack.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think with that, and then like you said, the songs that Chris Pine was singing, I think I'm somewhere around an 8.
Definitely agree.
All right, next up we got costumes. Gotta say this, I really appreciate the practical costumes that they did.
Same here.
Like, freaking ingenious. I will say, and this isn't really an issue with the movie itself. I wish that there was a little bit more variety in the characters in terms of like what their species were. I think we saw some like really cool looking characters. I wish we would have gotten like a little bit more. Like, I would have really liked to see more like an orcish barbarian. Like, if you could have freaking orked up Michelle Rodriguez a little bit.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like, it would have just been a wider variety. Like, I feel we got to see a lot of humanoid characters. We got to see creatures every once in a while. But I think overall, I would have liked to see more of the creature. But again,
I would
that's
definitely agree.
Yeah, nothing I'm going to dock for. It's just a point that I wanted.
No, it's fair.
But I mean, the costumes themselves, not hating.
No, even though I've never played the game ever, like honestly, I still really appreciated the costumes, the world that they're setting up. Every single costume for every character made sense.
Yeah. So I mean, they all looked good, and like I said, got to give freaking props to the practical costumes. Okay, I'm at like a pretty sturdy 9, and I could be talked up to a 10.
I don't know what else I could say to talk you up to a 10, because I'm also at a sturdy 9, so I know I could convince myself to talk me up to a 10.
You know what? Fair enough. All right, last up we got our own personal score. You want to take this one first?
I would love to. So overall, me being a person that has not only ever played Dungeons and Dragons, but literally knows nothing about the franchise, the lore, nothing. Like, I literally went into this movie with 0% knowledge in anything D. And I walked out having a little bit more knowledge. I will say I was confused during the movie, but I feel for newcomers, they actually do a really good job of moving the plot forward and making sure that, like, you have little to no knowledge with this franchise or with this property, you could still follow along, which I really, really appreciated. And it's just a really fun fantasy adventure movie. Really great characters, great effects. I just had a really good time. That's the biggest positive that I can say about this movie. I just had a great time. It's a fun fantasy movie, and that's really what I wanted from this. So I'm going to go on 88.
Not bad. Oh, yeah. I had a really good time with this movie. I will say my expectations for this were a little bit higher than they probably should have been when I went in. So when I came out, it felt like I was a little disappointed, but kind of talking this through a bit more, it just kind of made me realize that maybe my expectations for it were a little too high, and just it's completely unfair. And that's why I really like this our system, because it kind of forces me to look at a movie a little bit more realistically and not through such like a fanboy eyes, and which the fanboy in me would have given this a little bit lower, which, I mean, I am a little bit lower than Rose, but not as low as I initially thought that I was going to be. Like, when I came out of this movie, I was sitting around like a 78, 79 in terms of like
Still
my personal
horrible
score. Yeah. Like, it's not horrible, but I mean, it wasn't great either. So, I mean, coming out of it and just kind of managing my expectations, I do see this being one that I go back and explore again. Because it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And the more that I learned about Dungeons and Dragons, like, I'll love going back and seeing what little Easter eggs I missed and whatnot. But I think overall it was a really good time. Like Rose said, a really good fantasy adventure, and hopefully we get more out of this. So I think I'm going to be at an 84.
Not bad at all.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, just real quick, and it's because I just remembered. So before we get into what each of the categories scored, we did have a question of the week that we posted.
Oh, yeah, shit.
Yeah.
Oops.
So we got a lot of comments on this one, and I am going to ignore the ones that didn't answer the question.
The movie recommendation ones?
Yes.
Okay.
Which we got a lot of.
Enough.
And that does not mean that we don't care about your responses. We do.
We appreciate you guys recommending movies.
Yes. And we will be absolutely getting to a lot of these. Or as many as we can. But with the question of the week, I want to give special shout outs to the people that actually answer the damn question. So, with that, the question that we posted was, what Dungeons and Dragons spell would you like to have in the real world? So, the first response that we got related to the question comes from Nick at Walmart_Neji, who says, I would love to have Wish. And so luckily he responded to what I asked, and I was like, for those of us unfamiliar with D&D, what does Wish do? He says it's a wish or a spell that you could wish for anything, like even to become a god, but you have to end someone to do it.
Damn.
So it sounds like, I'm just trying to see what it does. Yeah, so it's like a super high-ranking spell. And I don't see anything that says that it costs someone their life. But, I mean, if that's... Again, he'd probably know better, but, I mean, that's a freaking brutal spell.
Dude,
if it freaking
up, like, god damn. Sound like a soul for a soul scenario over here.
Yeah, a little bit. Let's see. We got another response from Kira Yoshi Cage, who says at Loomer Illuminati, who also said Wish.
All right.
So yeah, Wish is just apparently something you do to get anything. Like you can wish for anything, which I guess is a useful spell, but what they both said is that there are rules to having how you can use. And so I looked it up real quick, and apparently, the greater the thing you're wishing for, the more issues that you'll have granting it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like a soul for a soul situation, where it's just whatever level of thing you're asking for, that's going to be the equal cost to make it happen. Which is an interesting concept too.
Yeah, it really is.
All right, let's see. Yep. We did get one from an It Was All Yellow, who said, I don't play D&D, but probably something like fire. So just like a fire-based spell. Oh, yeah. And, okay, here's one. We got one from a Bryce Van Hoorick, who says at boosted_seat, who said Tiny Servant. The spell is really useless, but would be just fun in the real world. I'm going to look up what Tiny Servant is. Alright, so here's what it does. You touch one tiny, non-magical object that isn't attached to another object or a surface and isn't being carried by another creature. The target animates and sprouts little arms and legs, becoming a creature under your control until the spell ends or the creature drops to 0 hit points. That sounds awesome.
That really does.
Dude, that would be the shit.
Yeah,
especially in the real world. I'd freaking make all my toys come to life.
Yes.
Yeah, and the higher this or the higher level you are, the more things you can animate.
Oh, dude, I love it. That's awesome.
That is amazing. And I will say, so I don't know if this is like a homebrew spell or what. There is a Dungeons and Dragons game that I listen to where they have a spell called Unseen Servant, where it's this invisible entity that will do whatever you command it to do, but it's 100% invisible. Yeah, and it doesn't make noise. Like, it doesn't do anything. It's just straight up invisible, but will do whatever you ask it to. And the way that the players used it was they used it to straight up bully a boss character, because they got the Unseen Servant to walk behind the bad guy and push him over.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Oh man. So yeah, that is all the responses in relation to the question we asked. And again, we just want to thank everyone that did comment on that. We will be getting to as many of these suggestions as we can. We are only human.
Yeah. What he said.
Yeah, but we'll make it happen. Anyway, going off that and getting back into our breakdown. So story ended up averaging out to an 84.5. Then writing jumped up a couple points, sitting at an 86. Acting jumped up even a little bit more, sitting at an 89. Character development on the exact same level, sitting at an 89. The effects had a significant jump, sitting at a 92. Music sitting down at an 8 out of 10. Costumes are 9 out of 10. And our personal score averaged out to an 86. So, with that, the final All Bros letter grade for Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves has come out to a B+.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that scored a lot higher than I thought it was going to. But I think rightfully so.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so it is sitting at... Oh, shit. Just lost it. Where'd it go? Oh, okay, there it is. So it is sitting at an 87.68%.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it's definitely one of our higher ones. So this is a B+ movie. There are 54 B+ movies, and this one ranked number 30. So it's dead center.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. So like I said, sitting at an 87.68. That puts it below Raya and the Last Dragon, which is sitting at an 87.81. It's also below The Prom, which is at an 88.12. It's below The Invisible Man, which is at an 88.23. It's below Glass Onion, which is at an 88.25. And then finally, it is below How to Train Your Dragon 2, which is at an 88.37.
All right.
Yeah. Going the opposite direction, it ended up above Parasite, which is at an 87.59.
Damn.
Yeah, right? It's above How to Train Your Dragon, which is at an 87.5, as well as The Black Phone, which is also at an 87.5.
Hey, wow.
Yeah. It's above Freaky, which is at an 87.37. And then finally, it is above Detective Pikachu, which is at an 87.31.
Okay. Yeah, that's not bad. Not at all.
Yeah, definitely not bad. Just for shits and giggles. So with Dungeons and Dragons being at an 87.68, to get 1% away, you have to go down 15 movies.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and it's being like 1% away. It's Frozen 2.
Oh.
So Frozen 2 is below this, and then going 1% above, you only go 7 above for it to be a full percentage away, and that's sitting at Bros.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, so I don't know about you, but I really like where this ended up.
No, I do too. No, I think it's a really good placement for it.
So yeah.
Sweet. Well, unless you have anything else that you want to about this movie, this episode.
Nope. That I do not.
Okay. All right. Well, if you like what you heard and want to hear more of our amazing voices, you can follow and subscribe to us wherever you listen to podcasts. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, literally everywhere, anywhere you listen to podcasts. You'll find us. Even where you're listening right now, you found us. Good on you. You can also catch all of our episodes. That sounded like really condescending. I'm sorry.
I wasn't going to say anything, but
oh, okay. You probably should have, because I'm glad I stopped myself. You can also catch all of our episodes on YouTube as well, if that's your preferred listening platform. You can follow us on social media, where you can DM us with an episode idea that you have, answer our questions of the week, or a great place to recommend the movies that you want us to do recommendations for. And those are as followed. We got Facebook, facebook.com/The Allbros, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at The Allbros. Or if you would prefer, you can email us at The Allbros. You can check out our website, tinyurl.com/The Allbros. Or you can go buy all of our merch at tpublic.com/user/The Allbros channel. Next week on the podcast, we will be breaking down the Super Mario Bros. Movie with a very special guest that we are so excited to have back. So you can look forward to that. But until next week, this has been the Allbros Podcast. I am Jonathan.
And I'm Caleb.
And we will catch you guys next week. I was gonna say your
build
line,
up on that one.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, I was gonna say your line, but I'm like, no, I want to say my line.
Did you forget what your line was?
I did, actually. So bye.
Deuces.